Hello, I'm Hubert and welcome to Decodable Demos, where we demonstrate all things related to streaming. Today's demo is sending streaming data to Snowflake via the Decodable S3 sync connector and Snowpipe. Let's get to it. First, we already have some streams already running in Decodable. I think what we'll do here is capture some. This is stream here. We want to capture this clickstream append stream where we're capturing all this information on clickstreams. And we'll send that to S3. So the first thing we need to do is find ourselves create ourselves a bucket in S3. Create bucket, Hubert, Snowflake. Let's do Snowflake bucket. Put this in the west region, and I don't want to block all public access. Disable tags. Okay, let's create that bucket. There's something missing. Maybe just copy a previous configuration that I had before. Choose this bucket. Bucket. Okay. Snowflake, great. We'll create a folder in here called clickstream. All right. So the first thing we need to do, if you look at our Decodable documentation on the S3 connector, we need to create a IAM role permission for security. So the first thing we need to do is go to our IAM in your AWS account. Okay, and we want to go to roles and just create a new role. And we want to create a custom trust policy here. We just go back to our documentation, and here's our trust policy. Let's copy this here and paste it into here. And so my Decodable account is actually not that. It's the Decodable demo. Or is it demos? It's demo. Yeah. You can find that account name right here. Okay. So we'll go next. And then we need to create a policy. So we go back to here. I believe it has a policy already made for you. By the way, you could also add multiple accounts in here. So I only have one account that I want to provide permissions to. So I don't need to provide this array. So now we're creating a policy. Let's create one. It'll take you to a new tab. You just click the JSON here and paste this. So this is getting these actions here: put, get, delete, and you just grab your bucket name here, okay, and the directory. So if we go back and go to another AWS console here. Actually, if I do this, click here, and push Command, new tab. There we go. Snowflake. So this is our bucket name, and that's what we want to put in here. The bucket. And if you recall, our directory is clickstream. You want to keep this asterisk there so that if you do decide to create subdirectories to partition your data, all those subdirectories will be included. Okay. So you want to provide this same information here in your bucket down here. Okay. Optionally, you can add some tags, but I won't do that here. Actually, I could do name tag. Hubert S3 to Snowflake. Okay, review this. Here's a summary. So you want to, so it's S3 permissions. So you want to give it a name. So Hubert S3 or S3 to Snowflake policy. Okay. Create that policy. Great, let's go find that Snowflake. So this is the ARN that you will be using. So this is somewhat sensitive, so you don't want to share this. But I'm going to delete all these policies at the end of this demo. Okay, so let's go to Decodable and see what we need as far as a connection. So let's create a connection. We want this to be an S3 sync, and we are in the US West region, and our S3 bucket is Hubert Snowflake. And the directory is clickstream. So here's our first information we need to grab, our IAM role that we created here in AWS, which is this one. Copy that. Okay. I'm just going to leave this blank. Our data is going to be, let's say, JSON. Okay. Let me check to see if this is a valid role. I'm sorry, I gave you the policy and not the role, so I need to go to the role. Make this mistake all the time. So I want to create a role. I'm just going to maybe reuse my role here. So I already have a role, so let's create a new role. Create one. And we want the same. Let me stop this for a second. Oops, so I made a mistake there. I thought I was finished. I guess all I did was create the policy. So now I need to look for that policy. I was in the middle of creating a role, so let's do that now. So Hubert, and this is the there is a role permission. There was a one that I didn't see here. Refresh that. Here it is. So make sure you click refresh here if you don't, in case you don't see the policy you just created. So next. So I'm just, this role is going to be Hubert S3 to Snowflake role. Okay. So let's create that role. Great. Hubert, and there's that S3, the Snowflake role. We want to capture this information here. Okay. So now if we go back to here, this is not supposed to be the policy like I did before. It needs to be the role. And as you noticed, Decodable actually captures that, recognizes that's an issue. Okay, so there is a stream that was the click stream append stream that we wanted to capture, so we'll choose that. Here's its schema. Go next, and we'll make this one be called S3 to Snowflake sync. Let's create that connection. Great. Let's start that. And we will look at the contents of our directory. So we have to kind of wait for it to start. I'll pause here so you don't have to wait. Great, it's running. Let's check out our directory. Refresh, and there's some data. Now that we have Decodable writing to a S3 sync connection and writing to this S3 bucket and directory, now we want to configure our Snowflake side of the integration. Great. So I pulled up the documentation, Snowflake documentation for automating Snowpipe for Amazon S3. The first thing we need to do is provide permissions, just like we gave permissions to Decodable to write to S3. We need to provide those same permissions for Snowflake to read and write. Well, in this case, just read from the same S3 bucket. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is create a permission to the S3 bucket. So we want these permissions. So these are very similar to some of the permissions we just saw in when we were creating our role and policy. Okay, so let's go to our policy. So we can create a policy right here, so it just navigates to here. We're going to reuse some of the policies and roles that we created, so that we'll create them all in one policy, so you don't have to have multiple policies. So you want to go to IAM. We're already there. We want to region, security, account settings, choose policies, sorry. So we're in policies. In fact, actually, we should probably go here, but it doesn't matter. So we're in policies, and now we want to create a new policy. And instead of creating a new policy, we're going to open our old the one that we just created. This one. Okay. And then this policy, we need to have these permissions, if you recall. So they give you the same, conveniently, the same JSON statement here. So copy everything inside the brackets of the statement. Go back to your policy, you edit this policy. Look at the JSON view, it gets easier. Put a comma there, and then paste the remaining policies from for Snowflake. You want to give it the same information as we did before. It looks like the policy is all exactly the same. We need put, get, delete, and list. This one needs get object, and it needs get version. So let's just put this one up here. We're just going to merge all this together. And we have the bucket and prefix. So we have that, so we don't need this one now. And now we need these. So we should put this click stream down in here, and then you want the bucket name here. Okay. So we're just going to leave this one here. It looks like these it has list bucket already here, but since this has a condition to it, we'll leave this as a separate entry into the policy. Okay, save changes. So that's our Snowflake policy, and if you recall, this is already assigned to our role. That policy is assigned to our role already. So if we go to the next section, review the policy, we've already created the IAM role. So this is that role. It is sensitive. Again, I'm going to delete that role later. So now we could use that same role. So copy that. When we create our configuration on the Snowflake side. So the first thing we do is create a create statement. That's also part of this here. We're going to grab this information here, which is the same as this, but I'll do it from scratch. And then I want to put my IAM role here, which is this one, so copy that. So if you didn't notice, I created a worksheet inside the Snowflake UI. So if I go here, home, you go to worksheets, create a worksheet, and then go to the one that you're working on. You have multiple worksheets here. So here's this one. So we want allow locations to be the path to our bucket. So let me just make sure what it was. Hubert Snowflake. And it was clickstream. Okay, we only have one, so we can just leave that there. We don't need any blocked locations. Okay, and we need to name this. So we're going to name this Decodable clickstream integration. Okay, let's run that. Successfully created. The next thing we need to do is describe that excuse me, to get the information for the next statement. Okay, so we go back here, close this tab, describe integration, and the integration name we gave it was Decodable clickstream int. Highlight that, run that. So there's information here that we need to provide further configurations on. So let's follow the next step. So we need, as it says here, we need this value, the ARN, and we need the storage external ID, which is this one. Okay, so let's continue. Step 5, we go to the IAM again, and we want to go to the role that we just created and add this information to it. So let's go to the role. Here's the Snowflake role. Okay. We want to go to trust and relationships. This is the integration point where we allow external services to come in. We have one here for Decodable. We need one for Snowflake. And we need to copy inside the statements brackets. Okay. We want to put that into here. Put a comma. Edit first. Comma, space, here. So we want the Snowflake user ARN, and we can find that in here. Snowflake user ARN. We grab that. You can go over here and copy this value. It's just easier. Let me paste that in here. Then we want the external ID, and that is this value here. Copy that. Go back to our role. Enter that in here. Okay. Let's update this policy. Great. Next. We want to update we just updated that policy, and then now we need to create the integration. So if you look at this, we have data files here. In this case, instead of data files, we have an integration with Decodable. Here I've modified this this picture here for you to have a better idea of what this is supposed to look like. We have a source. We're using a source connection in Decodable. We're creating a stream and some kind of pipeline. And then eventually we get to the Decodable S3 sync. And that's where we start sending that data to S3. So now we need to configure a SQSQ event. So this, what's happening here is that the directory, the bucket will have assigned to it a notification that will go through SQS. SQS will notify through this pipe and instruct the Snowflake to read from this directory and import that data into Snowflake. Okay, so let's go ahead and continue on with this diagram. We have that same diagram in here. So the first thing we need to do is use our existing. So I already have a database in here called Snowpipe DB. So if you go over here, and I'm actually going to rename this if possible. Click stream Snowpipe integration. Okay. Great. So let's get out of here and look at the our data. We have a database in here. So if you don't have a database, you can add one here by clicking and adding a database. I created a Snowpipe DB database so that it matches the instructions in here. So I can just copy this and paste this into my worksheet. So I'm going to create a new tab here, go to my Snowpipe worksheet, and I'm just going to paste that in here so that we're using that database. The next thing to do is to create a staging area for your data. Okay, you go to here. So my stage, I'm not going to name it my stage. I'm going to call it clickstream stage, and we know that this is in Snowflake. Is it dash Snowflake? Yeah, Snowflake. And the directory clickstream. Okay. And my storage integration is called Decodable clickstream integration. So let's run that. So it's not allowed, it's blocked. Let's check out the instructions here. Maybe we forgot something. So I made this mistake before. It didn't run because I did not have an end slash here. So make sure to put a trailing slash here before you run this this command. It already exists, but make sure to put an ending slash there so that this command will be successful. Okay, now we need to create a pipe to auto ingest this data. Okay, so create a Snowpipe. So copy this. So we want this to be in a public directory database. This table does not exist, so we need to actually create this table. And the way we do that is a little unique. We don't actually have to know the schema that that Decodable is saving for you. If you'll recall, inside the Snowflake sync connection, we still have a schema, and we're writing it as JSON in the S3 directory. But Snowflake doesn't know, we're not transferring that through Snowpipe. We have no ability to transfer that metadata to Snowflake. So Snowflake doesn't have that ability to do that. So what what we're going to do instead is create a table with a variant value data type to it. So if we create this, I'm going to copy this. And then we're going to create a table called clickstream just so that we know that it's JSON, we'll put that in there. So let's run this. Okay, so if we go back to our database, our public database, as you can see, we have we have this database here, this table here, and it says one field. That field is source, and it's of type variant. That data type is really like any kind of data type that you put in there, string. In this case, when you put JSON in there, you'll be able to query it specifically. And we'll get that towards get to that towards the end of the this demo. Okay, so we've created our table. So let's put that instruction actually above this instruction, so we have not run this one yet. So now we need to create a pipe. This is the Snowpipe. This is going to create pipe, my pipe. I'm going to change that name to click stream pipe. So I want to change this name to click stream JSON, just to be safe. Let's use this here. And then what we're doing is we're taking this from the staging directory. So this is our stage here, or staging, our stage. And the file format is going to be JSON. Okay, so this stage is pointing to our S3 bucket. So from that stage, we're copying data into this table in Snowflake. So let's run this. So that's created. Over here, you should be able to see some pipes. I have an old pipe already existing here. And here's this pipe we just created. We have some stages. This is that stage that I just created here. You see that it's pointing to my directory on my bucket in S3. Okay. Okay, next, Snowflake does suggest that you create security, configure security. We are not going to do that. You could do that on your own. Instead, we're going to skip to step 4. And the first thing we're going to do is just show pipes. Okay. Run that. And in here, you're going to be using some information that you'll need to configure your SQS connection, okay? So that's these ARNs here. So the one that we care about is the first row, so we want this value when we're configuring our SQS notification. Okay, you can see that same information here, I believe. If I go to our pipe, yeah, you can see that SQS information as well in there. I'm not sure that there's a way to copy it here. But we have it here, so let's continue. We want to then go to our S3 console and go into our bucket. Okay, so we're already there. We're in our bucket, Snowflake bucket, and what we want to do is go to the events. So that's in, actually you have to go to properties, I think it was. Create notification S3 bucket. So let's actually follow the S3 documentation to get to do this work. So it does give you a link to the S3 documentation, and this is how you create a notification on your S3 bucket through SNS or SQS, but we're doing SQS here. Okay. Here we need to go to the console. We've done that. Buckets, and choose properties. So we're in properties. Next, we want to go to event notifications. Scroll down, and here we are. We want to create an event notification. Excuse me. Okay, so we want, I believe we just need to configure this information. So here's our event name. Let's do this. Let's call it Hubert S3 to Snowflake click stream event. We can just put click stream here. That's I believe you could do that. Yeah, you could set up a prefix image. That's optional as well. But we are already only consuming from clickstream, so that could be omitted. So let's just omit that because I don't think we need that. We've already configured these endpoints here to only read from the clickstream directory. Okay, so next thing would be to an event types. If we go back to the Snowflake, we have to follow these settings here. So under events, we want all, and then we want to send to SQSQ. Send down here. Send to SQSQ destination. And then in here, set the SQSQ ARN. Paste the SQSQ name from the Snowpipe's output. So that is this value here. Grab this value, copy it. And in here, we want to enter the QARN, and that's what we paste in here. Okay, ARN. Save those changes. Okay. I think I clicked Save Changes here. Okay. Okay. And then now, it says Snowpipe but with auto ingest is now configured. So let's actually check that out. How do we know if it's actually configured? Let's go to our clickstream JSON, data preview. Oh, we need to select a warehouse. I've already created a warehouse here. If you don't have a warehouse, you could just create a warehouse by using this. So I'll put this in the command, create warehouse test. But here we're just going to select that warehouse. Okay, preview. So here's our data. We now have all of our data from S3 directory coming in real time into Snowflake. Okay, but how do we query this? Right, since this is just a single column. Right, so what we do is Snowflake has a way to actually query the contents of a JSON column. So you do, this is the name of the column, and then you put a colon to indicate that that this is the property you want inside the JSON document. So in this case we have IP, So we could go IP as IP. Let's see what else. So user ID. Here, what else can we require? This is interesting. The request. Let's request. Let's pick one more. The agent. Source agent as agent from, and our table is clickstream JSON. Okay, put this in a new line. Let's run that. And there we are. This is your contents of your JSON or clickstream. It's coming in as JSON. If you notice as well, if we kind of map back, so this is in Decodable, we have these like forward and back buttons which represent our lineage in relative to where we are right now. So this is a sync that's going from writing to S3. So if you go back one, this is the stream that's being populated from this source here, and this source happens to be Confluent Cloud. But notice that this Confluent Cloud, the details in it is that the value is in the format of JSON or Avro. So when we take that data, it's in Avro format. When we move on, we have that data in some internal format that's specific to underlying Flink format and Decodable. Okay, so when we click this again and go, notice it's going to multiple directions. In this case, we care about the S3 sync. This S3 sync, we've configured it to be JSON. So at the end here, we look at our bucket. Inside, you can actually click on one of these and open it. It's all in JSON format. Okay, and when it gets to Snowflake, obviously it's JSON. It's reading it from that directory and populating this table. Okay, there's some work to do. Obviously, everything is in quotes because they are string. So you may need to do additional work to get that out. As well as like parsing the agent and the request to get more insights on the click streams. But there you are. If you have any questions about this integration, please contact us at solutions or support at decodable.co. We also highly recommend that you join our Slack channel, our Decodable community Slack channel. Okay, and we're always checking that for new questions and problems that people are having, just in general streaming questions. Okay, this has been a pleasure, and thanks for watching.